Welcome back, guys, to the F1 2019 career mode, and you join me for Toro Rosso's home Grand Prix, Scuderia Toro Rosso, at the Italian Grand Prix. The little Italian team that could, as it will, and we've got a big weekend ahead of us here for the Italian Grand Prix. Had some development failures, unfortunately. Didn't have the full package come, and annoyingly, it was the one that I really wanted for the Italian Grand Prix, the engine power, because it is the Temple of Speed at Monza, and we really could have done with that major engine upgrade. We're going to have to go without it because we've got a tyre wear upgrade and a weight reduction upgrade. That's okay. I can accept that. Some upgrades, but I wanted the engine power. And looking at it as well, race going to be a bit soggy. Bit of a wet one in the Grand Prix. So we're going to have to really find a compromise on qualifying on Saturday, because I could just 1-1 wings and get ridiculously high up the grid for a Toro Rosso, but then we're going to be everywhere but the racetrack on Sunday. So, need to try and figure out a compromise. I'll try and do that in practice, see what works. And we've also got a small update from Carl about next year's regulations. Nothing official as of yet, but they're just saying, so the proposed amendments to next year's technical regulations will see changes to the internal combustion engine. So that basically means that any upgrades we've put against our powertrain, essentially, we will need to invest more resource points in to make them work for Season 2. So that's something we need to consider. Do we preserve the upgrades we have, or do we continue to upgrade the car? It's a bit of a... going into this weekend, Mercedes bring another upgrade. Red Bull bring a smaller one. Ferrari bring nothing, so they are now well and truly the third fastest car. Racing Point get further ahead of us. We bring a small upgrade to get ahead of McLaren. And Alfa Romeo have moved closer to McLaren. McLaren, Haas and Alfa are all on the same level, so it's interesting. But let's get into quali and figure out that hybrid.
The pit lane will be open shortly, which means it's nearly time for qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix here in Monza.
So here we go. I've just cranked on a tiny bit more setup, and we're going for our first lap around the Temple of Speed at the Italian Grand Prix, building up max fuel mixture, overtake mode, 213 miles an hour before slamming on the brakes at the 150 meter board. And even then, I think that was a little bit conservative. I could have taken that with a bit more gusto and fury, as it were. But nonetheless, we are out of the first chicane through the Curva Grande, building up once again to well over 200 miles an hour before slamming on the brakes for the second chicane here at the 100 meter board, utilising all the curb on entry, and it was just a little bit wide on exit. Definitely could have attacked that a little bit more. Then through Lesmo 1, we've attacked the curb, utilised the space on the exit, and then once again about the 50 meter board for Lesmo 2. Once again, use the curb on exit to capitalise on that acceleration. Then we're on another straight to build up to, again, over 200 miles an hour. Very fast circuit. And we come across the second sector split, only half second down on Vettel, then through Ascari. You don't want to use the curb too much, or you will trip over those sleeping policemen. And on exit, just crank it back up again to overtake mode to get the maximum out of the straight line performance and gradually drift the car to the left-hand side before the legendary Parabolica, braking at about 70 metres. Just tapped the inside curve that hampered me on exit, and then we just charge towards the line with hot lap mode. We're out of ERS, unfortunately, and across the line, it's a 21-2, and I was pretty pleased with that. So I'm leaving that as my one and only run. Let's see what Claire has to say about it.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. What was the secret of your qualifying pace?
Don't know. Just, I didn't think it was great, but apparently the car did all right.
Were those faults a bad omen for qualifying and the race?
What bad omen? You're making things up, Claire. Stupid media people.
Well, thanks anyway.
Yeah, thanks anyway. Anyway, going into qualifying, I also realised that I had a worn engine. That's not going to help for the Italian Grand Prix, where it's all about top speed. So we're going to put a fresh motor in for the race, or the freshest possible motor. No additional parts, all stuff we've already got, so no penalties. And we will keep that starting position of where I don't know, because I have genuinely forgotten. Let's get into Sunday for a soggy Italy.
It's race day here in Italy once again. Monza, home to so many records. The smallest winning margin, for example. Do you remember in 1971, Peter Gethin beat Ronnie Peterson to the line by 1/100th of a second. There were 40 overtakes for the lead alone in 1965, and Kimi Raikkonen clocked a record top speed of 230 miles per hour here, just over a decade ago. So there's a lot to live up to then for all of our drivers today. With the rain coming down here at the 3.6-mile Monza circuit, the low drag setups preferred by most teams could cause them some problems in today's Grand Prix. So watch out for cars struggling for grip around Parabolica, the last and most demanding of this track's 11 corners. Anthony Davidson, a very warm welcome to you as you join me in the commentary box for today's event. Now, I want to talk to you about Valtteri Bottas. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
Okay, this is the team's home race. We're all relying on you to impress today.
So there we have it with P8 on the grid. Didn't have the normal sort of grid rundown, but P8 on the grid, starting on the Inters apparently, even though the rain's quite heavy. Don't know if the rain will dry up or if it will wear off or whatever. So it's looking like a one-stop Inters to Inters currently. We'll see how that goes throughout the race. Going to underfuel the car, run it risky, and build with the lights. 5 are on for the Italian Grand Prix. Lights are out and away we go. We initially responded much better than Lance Stroll, but car hasn't got away well. Weber rockets past us, so does Raikkonen, so does Albon. We're down to 12 before the first corner. We're going to dive it down the inside, try and fight our way back up to 8th place, which is exactly what we've done. Apparently I've hit Raikkonen, I don't believe it. We out-dragged Stroll, couldn't do it off the line, can do it out the first corner, and we are now well ahead of the racing points. Perez is down the field, we are up into 7th place, up towards the second chicane. There's a Ferrari and Mercedes side by side. Stroll is trying to get past us. We just try and retain the line. The car fat with fuel and a low downforce setup. Even though I've cranked on extra wing for Monza, it's still low considering the rain. So it looks as if one Mercedes has bolted at the front, and there is a Ferrari holding up a train of front runners. And we now move on later into the lap. Lance Stroll is going to try and pass us into Ascari, but it is Ascari and it's uphill. It's wet. We've got off the road just about. Kept the car moving forward. You can see we're already down 1.2 on the fuel, so we're really going to need to keep an eye on that throughout the race. I might have thrown myself some extra difficulty by underfueling the car, but they try and make moves on us to the outside of Parabolica at the end of lap 1. We're not going to have any of that. We retain the place. It's Bottas in the lead from one of the Ferraris. We've got both Red Bulls, Hamilton, and one of the Ferraris. It is Charles Leclerc battling over 3rd place. Stroll gets past me. We're going to slipstream off him down towards the first corner. We've got both Alfa Romeos to my left and to my right. Well, this is not going to go whatsoever. Raikkonen's down the inside. Stroll is on the outside. 3 into 1. Just about go. Somehow we've come out of that still in P7, even though we will probably turn 10 at one point there. But Stroll up the inside of Curva Grande. Can the Racing Point driver finally get through? I wouldn't mind if this was Perez giving me trouble, but it's Lance Stroll, his teammate, and he's done me just before the second chicane. But later on the brakes, purposely go a little bit wide, tuck it in early, ride the curb, and we've got ourselves back up into 7th place. And Stroll has lost the position to Lucas Weber there, so he now is going to be the main guy challenging me for 7th place. End of lap 2. We're nearly 10 minutes into the video, and we're only on lap 2. That goes to show how action-packed the race has been and how action-packed the race will be. But Bottas still pulling away. I'm trying to squeeze Weber to the right-hand side of the circuit, as he's, of course, no DRS in these conditions. I'm trying to make it so he can't pass me. Unfortunately, he has, but we're going to try and slow it down. Hold it around the outside of the first part of the chicane, which, of course, becomes the inside. It's going to compromise me on exit. Had to counter-steer into the slide, but defended well against the Alfa Romeo car, which is the 3rd fastest Italian car, behind, of course, ourselves and the Ferrari. So, 1:35.1 at the end of lap 3. Here comes Weber again in my slipstream. Is he going to try and make a move? He has a look. He brakes later than me. We try and pinch him to the right, but we're just going to pull the same defensive move around the outside, back to the inside, back on the power. Job's a good and easy does it. He's only really going to come back at me if he gets better traction out of that chicane and manages to get a slipstream through Curva Grande into the not the Parabolica, just the second chicane. I forget what it is. I know the first chicane is the Retifilio. I forget what this one's called, as we're sliding the car all over the place trying to get the maximum out of it, considering these conditions. Rain still absolutely belting down. We haven't lost that much more fuel though, so that has stabilised as we're trying ever so slightly to pull away from the chasing pack. Of course, the Ferraris and the Red Bulls, they're way too quick for us today, especially in these conditions. But we've pulled just about a second over Lucas Weber. And we're, of course, setting personal best after personal best. So that inclines to me the weather is getting slightly better. But I could also be wrong on that regard, as lap 6, we're defending into the second chicane this time around. Lucas Weber trying to get through on the outside, which compromised my line, but is what it is. Hopefully, we did see the rain was going to improve throughout the start of the race. Will it dry up entirely by the end? That is the million-dollar question. But what we need to start thinking about is, if it does dry up, are our tyres going to be in enough nick? We don't want them to try and make any unnecessary pit stops, as Weber has got a fantastic run off of Lesmo too, and he's completely past me going up towards Ascari, and I'm not going to try and make a move, albeit he was very slow to turn in, but he did me on the lead up to Ascari, and he's going to, well, he's completely done me on traction. How the bloody hell has he done that? Get back here, Lucas. We'll sit in his slipstream. We're not going to be close enough to make a move into Parabolica. We're going to have to consider it out of Parabolica, maybe into the first chicane if we get enough speed, but we're down to 8th now. And I really can't afford to let the Alfa Romeo get out of my sights, because I can defend well, but apparently we've got no traction, and we've now got Stroll back all over us. And we're back into the 35s. Maybe the tyres are wearing out, or maybe that was just a poor lap. I don't know. All I know is Stroll is trying to pass me into turn 1. I've braked very late, just get the car slowed down. We're at a cruel 25 miles an hour in a Formula 1 car. It's not a normal speed, and apparently we've had a collision with Stroll. According to the race director, I don't know. We now move on. Lap 7 again. It's 2 seconds now we've lost to Weber. You can see the rain is already a bit lighter though, so hopefully the lap time should start improving. Stroll trying one more time on the inside of turn 1 to get through, and he's done better than Weber did, but with just same defensive move. Keep it nice, straight, narrow, beautifully held once again. Will he get the slipstream though? It looks like it through Curva Grande. He's going to try, looks as if he wants to try and get to the inside, and I've left the door open for him in my defence. I've had to brake very late, barely once again getting the car slowed down all over the curbs, compromising my exit. In fact, I've really compromised my exit, and Stroll gets past me up towards Lesmo 1. We're going to try and have a go around the outside. Will bang in between myself and the Racing Point car, pushes me out wide, and that's actually cost me a position versus Kimi Räikkönen. Now we're going to try and hold it around the outside of him. We do. But on traction, we've got absolutely nothing to give. I don't know why this car is so poor on traction. Now, Perez wants to go at me into Ascari. Räikkönen ahead. We're going to go down the inside. Are we going to make the move? It looks like we are. Okay, got that one through. I'm always a bit dubious about moves about Ascari in the wet. Bottas now, 32.6. You can see the conditions are improving as the lap times do start to drop. But we've dropped down to 9th now. And sooner or later, if we carry on at this rate of momentum, we're going to be out of the top 10. And that's not what we want. We want to be getting points at the Italian Grand Prix. So we move on to the end of lap 9. Personal best in both the first and second sectors. We are now moving up the back towards Lance Stroll. Weber's got away from us. We are now doing 34.3. So rain's easing off. Tyre wear kicking in, but lap time's improving. So that leads me to believe we should start going faster.
ETA on this rain clearing up is about 10 minutes, so just keep your concentration out there.
And that's sort of the news we've been waiting on, is for the rain clearing up. So apparently it's going to be about 10 more minutes, which means it'll be about 6 or 7 laps for the rain clearing up. 34.0 now. You see, we get the notification from Jeff there about coming in 2 laps for another set of intermediates. Well, if the rain's going to stop in 10 minutes, it's not going to be that much longer till the track is dry. So It's now a game of, in my head, do we even stop for a second set of intermediates, or do we just carry on going? You saw me at the start of this lap, very close to Lance Stroll, and by the end of it,
It's not a perfect situation, but I don't think we have cause to move on to a different tyre yet.
Well, I mean, I could have figured that one out, Jeff, because it's still bloody raining. Anyway, we lost 2.5 seconds to Stroll over that lap. Really just had a scruffy one from memory, and it's now Perez who's passed Raikkonen and charging me down. So I'm in a Racing Point sandwich at the moment. Barely able to make it into the first chicane by the looks of things. But nonetheless, we soldier on. Lap 13. This is the lap we're supposed to be coming in. There is a Ferrari in the pits. There is a Mercedes in the pits. There is a Red Bull in the pits. So, is Lucas Weber's coming as well. So this is the lap we're all in a pit and get a fresh set of intermediate tyres. Still raining though. I'm going to carry on. I'm carrying on. Perez is going in. Lots of cars are going in the pits. Who is the Ferrari coming out of the pits now? It is Charles Leclerc on a fresh set of intermediate tyres. We have got ourselves up into 5th position due to the fact we have not pit. Of course, we have Lance Stroll ahead of us who also hasn't pit. So, we just got to protect these tyres a little bit because I'm going to believe in the weather forecast. I don't normally, but I'm going to believe in it.
It looks like we'll be running on a dry track soon. Back to dry shortly.
And that's the news I need to be hearing because we're doing a personal best this lap. Even though our tyres are worn, it's because the rain is easing off and I've nearly had a crash with Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. It's the last thing I need to be doing, so I'm just going to let him through on the straight. He's got more straight line speed. ERS down to low, so I certainly don't try and crash into the back of him, but okay, back to a dry track soon. That's what I needed to hear. That's what we need to focus on because we've now got Stroll and one of the Red Bulls looks as if it is Gasly in the pit. So we moved ourselves up into 4th place. We lost time in the final sector there due to, of course, Leclerc passing us and our poor run through Ascari. But 12 laps to go in this Grand Prix, 13 if you include the one we're on. And pace isn't dropping off too badly. We still did a personal best in the middle sector of lap 15. Apparently the track's going back to dry shortly, so I'm putting my faith in that. 32.2 from Charles, 33.7 from me. If I'm still doing personal bests on these worn tyres, there's no point in changing them for another set of these tyres, because we're going to be back to dries soon, so I need to concentrate on that. Gasly's 6.5 behind. We just need to keep decent pace. 33s will work. Here we come again. Rain has completely stopped now. Across the line, 33.5, 6 seconds back to Leclerc, only 3.5 ahead of Gasly, but we are now got a little bit of spray on the tyres, and very, very harsh weather. Let's get an update. Well, DRS enabled. That says to me this is a crossover point. And front left, 52%. It's not going to last much longer, but I'll tell you what will last till the end of the race. A set of soft tyres. We are coming in at the end of this lap. Look at the cut. It's not very quick. I know it's not very quick. But we're coming in. End of lap 18. And you know what? Vettel and one of the Mercedes are in. Gasly is in. Verstappen goes round again. Who else has got to go round again? Is that Alpha? No, that Alpha is coming in. But we're coming in for a set of soft tyres to the end of the race. Leclerc, because Vettel's in, Leclerc's had to go round again. Will be interesting to see how close we get to that Ferrari, because this lap is going to be pivotal. One of the racing points is in, but crucially, the one that isn't, no, Lance Stroll, they've pulled in Perez. Perez in for softs. Stroll has been left to hang out to dry. He goes into the first chicane on that set of inters, and that set of tyres is not going to work. I need to build up confidence on these soft tyres and make sure they don't cool down. We need to get as much heat into them as humanly possible on this outlap to have maximum speed. So you see Stroll 2.9 seconds ahead of me. We haven't really closed him down much on this outlap. And we've got Gasly in my rear view mirror. He's going to try and make a move to the outside of the Parabolica. Now, because this position, and potentially a very good position, I'm not rolling over this time, Pierre. I'm not going to let you get ahead of me and pull off that decent defensive driving. I'm going to try and stay ahead of you. Stroll in. Verstappen coming out the pits. Now, we're going to pass Verstappen. Gasly is trying to drag me. He's got DRS. He's trying to out-drag me. He does out-drag me down towards the first chicane. Can we try and make a move back on Pierre? We're going to send it round the outside. We've just got it slowed down over the curb, but Gasly's done me. Unfortunately, he's done me into the first chicane. I just couldn't get the car slowed down, but Kevin Magnussen with the fastest lap of the race on a 28.6. Now that we've got dry tyres on this car, it's going to be a fairer fight to the end. You can see Gasly, he's not getting away from me. even though I now have to have the engine turned down to save this fuel. Bottas 26.4. I'm in the slipstream of Pierre Gasly, and I still fancy my chances versus the Frenchman. I don't think he's going to I don't think he's that much quicker than me, in all honesty, and I'm going to try and prove it. Here we go. End of our first flying lap on the soft compound tyres. 27.9. He's 0.6 ahead of me, but we have DRS, and that's all I need to do. Just sit in his DRS, and that will keep me close to him. And as the laps tick down, as the fuel comes back into a position where I can push again, I can then utilise higher engine modes. We've actually set on this lap, lap 21, the fastest middle sector of the race so far, and through Parabolica one more time. Fuel is coming down. This is another fantastic lap from us. Still in the slipstream, still in the DRS of Pierre Gasly. What is it as we cross the line? It's a 26.0, and we can have a go at him this time around. We're turning the engine down, and we're still that much quicker than him in a straight line. Here we go, into the Rettifilio. Can Gasly hold the position round the outside, or will we conquer him on superior traction? Look at that. Move beautifully made. Toro Rosso passes a Red Bull at Italy, but there is still a long way to go in this Grand Prix, and Gasly can still try and fight. There we go, his DRS on the back straight. Too much for us to handle going into Ascari. However, we can have a run through Ascari, stick in his slipstream, and hopefully have a go into turn one. We've made a mistake, though. That's going to be potentially critical, because we can't let Gasly get over a second ahead of us, because that's when this fight ends. So we need to be on point with every move, every corner, every braking zone, every traction zone. We should still have DRS this time around, but we can't afford to be making mistakes like that. As we cross the line, it is 0.6 of a second once again to the Red Bull of Pierre Gasly. And look at all the times tumbling behind us now. 24.1 from Lucas Weber in the Alpha. He's just behind us. Remember how far ahead of us he was on the Inters? Well, he hasn't managed to pull off that level of success. Once again, fastest middle sector of the race so far on lap 23. And just look at the aggression we're carrying through Ascari. Bottas 23.7. Times are tumbling as the track improves. We're once again in the slipstream of Pierre Gasly. Across the line, we're only going to have 4 laps left of the Italian Grand Prix. Fuel is coming into a position where I'll be able to push it. ERS, I'm having to keep it low. I'm having to keep it in medium and push it, because if I try and harvest any, I'm going to fall out of his slipstream. 24.0 by me. Here we go, one more time versus the Red Bull. We'll go to the outside this time. He tries to defend early, but we've put well ahead of him into the braking zone. Look at that. Absolutely superb stuff. Now, we just need to try and stay ahead of him. That's our big challenge. That's going to be the defending job of a lifetime. We're now on lap 25, and Gasly is trying to have a go. And more to my concern, if you look at the mini-map, there is a light blue, almost turquoisey dot as Gasly tries to get past me through Ascari. We fight it, though. Use the curb and put a slide on it. There is a turquoise dot chasing after us. That is Lewis Hamilton. He's out of a fight with Verstappen, and he's now coming into a fight with us as I hold up the Red Bull. We're now on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. I'm holding P4 still over Gasly, but look at the straight line speed advantage the Red Bull's got down towards Ascari. I've got absolutely no way of defending that. Gasly put his car where it needed to be, and I've compromised myself mid-corner, and unfortunately Lewis Hamilton is now charging through. So in one corner, I've gone from 4th to 6th. Still good points, but I think I can do better. So we're coming on to the final lap of the Italian Grand Prix. It's Gasly, Hamilton, and myself, all for P4. I'm going to turn the engine up. I'm going to turn the ERS up for this final lap. Hamilton, fastest lap of the race, 23.3. We did a 25.9. Hamilton up to P4. We are in P6. We want to be P4 by the end of this lap, so we're not able to do anything into the first chicane. That is disappointing. What can we do over the rest of the lap? Out of Les Mo 2, Hamilton heads the train. He won't have DRS. Gasly will. I will. Personal best in the first sector. We are nearly a second up on our best lap of the Grand Prix. Gasly is going to try for a move in Ascari. That is going to hold Hamilton up. It's going to hold him up. Bottas crosses the line as the race winner. Gasly and Hamilton side by side through Ascari. We pass Hamilton. It's now a drag race between myself and the Red Bull down towards Parabolica. Look at the shot. Will we go 3 wide? Will Hamilton try and make a move? It's me versus Gasly into the braking zone. We swoop around the outside of the Red Bull on traction. Can we keep it? We move across. I'm going to give everything. Hot lap up to the line. We've done it. It's P4 in a Toro Rosso.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
So Valtteri Bottas, as I said, wins the Italian Grand Prix ahead of both Ferraris, Vettel and Leclerc. And then we just about brought it home in P4 in that Toro Rosso. We had the pace. The car came alive in the final 7 laps of that race, and we were able to bring it home in P4 for our best result of the season. Pierre Gasly there, P5 for Red Bull. The lead Red Bull being beaten by a Toro Rosso. Hopefully that puts some smiles and some eyes on me. You never know. Lewis Hamilton, 6th. His championship crusade is certainly falling down. Unfortunate for Lewis Hamilton. Max Verstappen there gets P7. Looks like I was the only one to try the one-stop strategy. Weber, Perez and Stroll round out the points. So we got 12. Perez only with 2. So we've clawed 10 points back against the Racing Point driver. Daniel Ricciardo, solid drive from 20th to 13th, but not quite what I did. Not quite what I did. I'm happy because admittedly I did start 8th. That's a small benefit we would have had. But anyway, driver standings wise, Bottas now pulls 10 points clear of Sebastian Vettel. Lewis Hamilton is now 24 points behind Valtteri Bottas. He's nearly a race win behind his teammate. Bottas 3.0, the porridge boss, has returned. Lance Stroll overtakes Kevin Magnussen in the driver standings. Lucas Weber overtakes Daniel Ricciardo. And we only have 7 points separating myself and Perez for P7. Over on the constructor side of things, Alfa overtake McLaren. Not really much else changes, unfortunately. Ferrari move ever so closer to Mercedes, but with Bottas going the way he's going, I don't think Ferrari are going to end up beating them. And I don't see us beating Racing Point, unfortunately. But if I can take 7th in the Drivers' Championship, you're going to hear that every episode for the rest of this goddamn season. But if I get it, it'll be fine. Anyway, I'm sure Claire wants to catch up.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it?
No, but you can expect that with the rain, in my opinion. Everyone's got to be a little bit more lenient with each other, I suppose.
Would you say that your rival is still on your level?
Albon's good, but I mean, look at the points tally.
Well, thanks anyway.
Okay, 2,000 resource points. We will be getting that major engine upgrade, and we'll get that on the car for the Singapore Grand Prix. Looking at now, 1,500 resource points. We really need that major engine upgrade, so that's definitely coming to the car. I think, I've said this before, and we saw it a couple of races ago, that the area of development that Racing Point have really developed in is their aero. So we need to try and get a real string of upgrades together on the aero side of things. We've got 2 major ones outstanding at the moment for front and rear downforce. We could go chassis because we've got a major weight reduction or a major tyre wear. But I'm thinking Racing Point have the advantage on aero. So we're going to get a front downforce upgrade on the car. Hopefully that will be in place for Russia. And hopefully, I believe it's Singapore, we get the confirmation of the regulation change. I'm fairly confident the snippet we got in this weekend's video basically already tells us that it's just going to be the internal combustion engine. But I could be wrong. Who knows? Anyway, guys, that has been the Italian Grand Prix, the home race for Toro Rosso. I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, please consider leaving a like and comment any feedback down below. Next time out, we have one of my least favourite tracks on the calendar, Singapore. It's a night race. It's a street race. We'll see how it goes, but I'm not overtly confident on my chances. So, if you want to be kept up to date with the content that comes to the channel, please consider hitting subscribe and enabling those notifications. And I will see you all next time.